Good morning, everyone. We're glad everyone's here. It is, it's Saturday. I thought it was Sunday all day, and then came to find out that it's actually Saturday. Good morning, Vicky. How is Washington? I hope it's going well there. And you guys are way past peak pandemic. So anyway, we're here. It is Leviticus chapter 27. I still have not found my big giant Bible. Someone has taken it. Anyway, good morning, Jan. I'm sorry you didn't get your turkey. Good morning, Margie. Good morning, Pam. Good morning, Janet. Good morning, Deb. Good morning to everyone. We're going to start with Leviticus chapter 27. It's the last chapter of the book of Leviticus. I'm going to be reading from my computer again. So Leviticus chapter 27. It looks like we're in the New International Version. Redeeming what is the Lord's. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, if anyone makes a special vow to dedicate a person to the Lord by giving the equivalent value, set the value of a male between the age of 20 and 60 at 50 shekels of silver, according to the sanctuary shekel. For a female, set her value at 30 shekels. For a person between the ages of 5 and 20, set the value of a male at 20 shekels and of a female at 10 shekels. For a person between 1 month and 5 years, set the value of a male at 5 shekels of silver and that of a female of 3 shekels of silver. For a person 60 years old or more, set the value of a male at 15 shekels and a female at 10 shekels. If anyone making the vow is too poor to pay the specified amount, the person being dedicated is to be presented to the priest, who will set the value according to what the one making the vow can afford. If what they vowed is an animal that is acceptable as an offering to the Lord, such an animal given to the Lord becomes holy. They must not exchange it or substitute a good one for a bad one, or a bad one for a good one. If they should substitute one animal for another, both it and the substitute become holy. If they vowed a ceremonially unclean animal, one that is not acceptable as an offering to the Lord, the animal must be presented to the priest, who will judge its quality as good or bad. Whatever the value the priest then sets, that is what it will be. If the owner wishes to redeem the animal, a fifth must be added to its value. If anyone dedicates their house as something holy to the Lord, the priest will judge its quality as good or bad. Whatever value the priest then sets, so it will be remain. If the one who dedicates their house wishes to redeem it, they must add a fifth to its value, and the house will again become theirs. If anyone dedicates to the Lord part of their family land, its value is to be set according to the amount of the seed required for it, 50 shekels of silver to a homer of barley seed. If they dedicate a field during the year of Jubilee, the value that has been set remained. But if they dedicate a field after Jubilee, the priest will determine the value according to the number of years that remain until the next year of Jubilee, and a set value will be reduced. If the one who dedicates the field wishes to redeem it, they must add a fifth to its value, and the field will again become theirs. If, however, they do not redeem the field, or if they have sold it to someone else, it can never be redeemed. When the field is released in the Jubilee, it will become holy, like a field devoted to the Lord. It will become priestly property. If anyone dedicates to the Lord a field they have bought, which is not part of their family, the priest will determine its value to the year of Jubilee, and the owner must pay its value on that day as something holy to the Lord. In the year of Jubilee, the field will revert to the person from whom it was bought, the one whose land it was. Every value is to be set according to the sanctuary shekel, 20 gerahs to the shekel. No one, however, would dedicate the firstborn of an animal, since the firstborn already belongs to the Lord. Whether an ox or a sheep, it is the Lord's. If it is one of the unclean animals, it must be brought back at its set value, adding a fifth to its value. It is not redeemed. If it is not redeemed, it is to be sold at its set value. But nothing that a person owns and devotes to the Lord, whether a human being or an animal or a family land, may be sold or redeemed. Everything so devoted is most holy to the Lord. No person devoted to destruction may be ransomed. They are to be put to death. A tithe of everything from the land, whether grain from the soil or fruit from the tree, belongs to the Lord. It is holy to the Lord. Whoever would redeem any of their tithe must add a fifth of the value to it. Every tithe of the herd and flock, every 10th animal that passes under the shepherd's rod, will be holy to the Lord. No one may pick out the good from the bad or make any substitutions. If anyone does make a substitution, but the animal and its substitute become holy and cannot be redeemed. These are the commandments the Lord gave Moses at Mount Sinai for the Israelites. So they end in this chapter, and I have really never studied it. I've just read it before. This is my first time reading it without ever studying it. So I'm going to make stuff up, and I don't really know any of this, what it means. And if you guys have any insight, that'd be awesome. The days are running together, Vicky. I agree. So it looks like, let's read it closely here. If anyone makes a special vow to dedicate a person to the Lord by giving the equivalent value, why would they dedicate a person to the Lord and then have to pay for it? That's a great question. So I'm going to cheat to look this up because I don't have any idea what it means. You know what? I don't care what it means. I'm going to say what I think. Here's what I think. That we're giving things to God and saying these are His, and so I'm just going to give devotional thought, not whether what it means, and then maybe I could look it up later. And it looks like there's all these things you can give. If anyone makes a special vow, you give this money. If you're going to, if what is vowed as an animal, then the animal becomes holy. If anyone dedicates their house, the house becomes holy. If anyone dedicates the land becomes holy. And if they want it back, they have to pay more money, right? This is transactional. A lot of this is transactional. So yeah, one thing to understand, I think, is kind of important, is that in a lot of cultures, not American culture necessarily, but a lot of other cultures, the cultural life and the religious life are like this. They're intertwined. What we have in American society is this. We have a cultural life and then we have a religious life. And they're really rarely intertwined. But in indigenous cultures, in a lot of like Hinduism, a lot of other religions, they're like this. And in Judaism, it's the same thing. My cultural life and my religious life are so intertwined, it's hard to know if there's any difference at all. In fact, there probably isn't. So how I eat and how I sit and how I have festival and how I do weddings, all of it is religious driven, right? So it's very, very different from how Americans typically think. So I just want to talk about this a little bit and think, I'm not really sure exactly what's going on, like I said, but I do know this, that everything belongs to the Lord. That's what I'm getting from this. He's like, oh, take this part, and this belongs to God. If you tithe this, if you want to get your tithe back, well, you have to pay extra money. And if you're going to make this vow, pay this much money to dedicate a person to the Lord. So, but what's really saying to me is, what have I kept? Like the question for me, like my question of dedication, what have I kept from the Lord? So, for example, I've given my life to Jesus, but what about the car I drive? What about the house I have? What about my work? How much of that am I dedicating to God and saying, you know what, Lord, it's yours? I think what I've done, not you. What I've done is I'm saying, oh, I'm dedicated to Jesus, but this area of my life is mine. I'm not going to give it to the Lord. Not that I'm doing something crazy with it. It's just that I haven't dedicated it to Him. I've just kind of used it for my own personal use. And I'm wondering if we need to think a little bit more holistically about our lives and say, where is the dedication of the Lord, and what does these resources, right? Field, crop, food, animals, right? Those are all economic. Family. How are all of these things given to God? Or where have I just used them as if they were just God, they're God's blessings, and I just use them for whatever purpose I want? I think those are great questions to ask. Well, I'm asking them for myself. God, what have I kept for myself? What have I dedicated to you? And how do I need to do that more thoroughly? And ask myself those hard questions of, it kind of goes back to where we make things idols. And so maybe part of this dedication process is helping us separate our own idolatry, where we take things that are temporary and material and make them our number one priority. So I want to encourage you. Yeah, that's cool. So I just want to take this encouragement to you and think, okay, what part of my life, and I'll share this last story. When Andrew was 2, and I've shared it before, so it's not a new story, but when Andrew was 2, we were sitting down and watching cartoons, and I was just firstborn son, you know how it is, right? Firstborn child, and it's all this love, blah, blah, blah. And we were watching probably, who knows, and Paw Patrol, I think. And I was just like, in love with my son and thought I had this great life. And then I did have a good life. I still have a good life. And suddenly I just felt like the Holy Spirit was speaking to me and saying, you put your son more important than me. You put your son as your number one love, more important than your love for God. And I'm sitting there, he's on my lap, and I just had to repent. And I had to say, God, forgive me. And I gave Andrew to him. He just wasn't mine anymore. And I have to do that regularly, not just with Andrew, but with William and Chloe, with Shauna, with the house, with my car, with my resources. I try to hold on to them and use them for me. I want them to be for me. And then God, I just have to, and it's still regularly, I have to like, God, help me. I give this to you. Forgive me for holding on to it. So I want to encourage you to think about where Jesus and how Jesus is in every part of every section of every detail of every part of your life, and give it to him. Yeah, it's nice to have a wife that kind of helps us, right? That's a great discipleship form is our spouses, Anthony. It's been hard to give things we earned and worked hard for the Lord. It's through him we have it. That's right. It's all from him. Like, we don't own anything. It's all his. So it's a great lesson in chapter 27. Beyond what it might mean for them, what it means for us is that it's all his, and it's all to be given to him for his purposes. God bless you. We love you all. And tomorrow is Sunday, and I'm starting a new Bible study for myself on the book of Nehemiah. So if you'd like to join, same time, 7:20, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.